In the beginning there was nothing. No light, no darkness, no stars, no planets, no life. Only an empty void. Then from this nothingness came a voice of power, a voice of creation. "Let there be light," the voice boomed, and with those words the universe exploded into existence. Light pierced the darkness, chasing it away like shadows fleeing the sun. This was the beginning of everything, the birth of the cosmos, the dawn of time, and at the center of it all was the source of that mighty voice, God. God spent the next few days shaping the universe. He separated the light from the darkness, creating day and night. He gathered the waters together, forming the oceans and revealing dry land. He spoke, and the land teemed with life. Plants sprouted from the ground, their leaves reaching for the sky. Trees, tall and strong, took root in the earth. The world was awash in color, a vibrant tapestry woven by God's own hand. The air filled with the sound of life. Birds soared through the sky, their songs echoing through the trees. Fish swam in the depths of the oceans, and animals of all shapes and sizes roamed the land. In the midst of all this beauty, God created a special place. A paradise unlike any other, a garden of unimaginable splendor. He called it Eden. Rivers flowed through Eden, their waters sparkling like liquid diamonds. Trees laden with delicious fruit grew in abundance. Flowers of every imaginable color and scent perfumed the air. The Garden of Eden was a place of peace and harmony. The animals lived together in perfect harmony, their hunger satisfied by the bounty of the land. There was no pain, no suffering, no death. This perfect paradise was God's gift to his most wondrous creation, man. Formed from the dust of the earth, man was different from all other creatures. God breathed into him the breath of life, and with it, a soul, a spirit, a conscience. Man was created in God's image, capable of love, compassion, and creativity. He was given dominion over all other living things, entrusted with the care and stewardship of God's creation. God named the man Adam and placed him in the Garden of Eden. He gave Adam one simple rule: he could eat from any tree in the garden except for the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Section 5. The creation of woman. Adam was surrounded by the wonders of creation, yet he felt a profound sense of loneliness. The lush greenery, the vibrant flowers, and the majestic animals all around him were magnificent, but they could not fill the void in his heart. He needed a companion, someone to share his life with, someone to love. The beauty of Eden was unparalleled, but without someone to share it with, it felt incomplete. Adam's heart yearned for a partner, a soulmate who could understand him and walk beside him. Seeing Adam's loneliness, God decided to create a helper for him, a partner to stand by his side. God, in his infinite wisdom and compassion, knew that Adam needed someone who could be his equal, someone who could share in the joys and challenges of life. As Adam slept peacefully, God took one of his ribs, and from it, fashioned a woman. This act was not just a creation but a divine gesture of love and unity. The woman was crafted with care, embodying grace, strength, and beauty. When Adam awoke, he was filled with joy at the sight of the woman. His heart leaped with happiness, for he knew that this was the companion he had been longing for. The connection was immediate and profound. She was beautiful, with long flowing hair and eyes that sparkled with intelligence and kindness. Her presence was a balm to Adam's soul, and her beauty was not just in her appearance but in her spirit and character. This, Adam knew, was someone special, someone created just for him. He felt a deep sense of gratitude and awe, knowing that she was a gift from God, meant to be his partner in every sense. God called the woman Eve, for she was to be the mother of all living. Her name carried a promise of life and continuity, a testament to her vital role in the grand design of creation. Together, Adam and Eve were to rule over creation, living in harmony with God and each other. They were entrusted with the stewardship of Eden, to nurture and protect it, and to live in a relationship of mutual respect and love. Their union was the beginning of a new chapter in the story of creation, one filled with hope, promise, and the beauty of companionship. Section 6. The serpent appears. The Garden of Eden was a place of peace and tranquility, but a sinister force lurked in the shadows. A serpent, cunning and deceitful, slithered through the undergrowth, its eyes gleaming with malice. This was no ordinary serpent. This serpent was a master of deception, a manipulator of words, a tempter of souls. It had set its sights on God's beloved creations, Adam and Eve, and it saw a way to turn them against their creator. The serpent approached Eve as she tended the garden. Its voice, smooth and seductive, whispered doubts into her heart. "Did God really say you couldn't eat from any tree in the garden?" it hissed. Section 7. The Forbidden Fruit. Eve, taken aback by the serpent's words, replied, "We may eat from any tree in the garden, except for the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God said if we eat from that tree, we will die." The serpent chuckled, a cold and calculating sound. "You will not surely die," it hissed. "God knows that when you eat from it your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." Eve looked at the tree with new eyes. Its fruit, once forbidden, now seemed irresistible. She imagined herself and Adam wise and powerful like God, and the temptation proved too strong to resist. Section 8. Temptation and Sin. Eve reached out and plucked the forbidden fruit from the tree. It gleamed in her hand, its skin smooth and inviting. She took a bite, its sweet juice filling her mouth. Immediately she felt different. A strange new awareness washed over her, a knowledge of things she had never understood before. She saw the world and herself in a new light. Excited by her newfound knowledge, Eve rushed to find Adam. She offered him the fruit, and he, trusting in his wife, took a bite. As he did, the world shifted around them. Innocence was lost and sin entered the world. Section 9. The Consequences of Sin. This chapter delves into the profound impact of the first act of disobedience in human history. The moment Adam and Eve disobeyed God by eating the forbidden fruit, a shadow fell over the Garden of Eden, altering its once perfect and harmonious state. Shame and guilt washed over them, replacing their former innocence. They could no longer look at each other or themselves without feeling the weight of their transgression. They realized their nakedness and felt a sense of vulnerability they had never known before. This newfound awareness brought with it a deep sense of loss and confusion. When God came to walk in the garden, as he did each day, Adam and Eve hid from him. The once open and trusting relationship they had with their Creator was now marred by fear and shame. They were afraid of his wrath, ashamed of what they had done. The garden, which had been a place of joy and communion, now felt like a place of judgment and dread. God called out to Adam, "Where are you?" His voice, once a source of comfort, now struck fear into their hearts. Adam replied, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." His words revealed the depth of their newfound fear and the chasm that had formed between them and God. God asked, "Who told you that you were naked?" This question pierced through their shame, highlighting the gravity of their disobedience. "Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?" The question was not just about the act, but about the breach of trust and the consequences that would ripple through all of creation. The forbidden fruit, once a symbol of temptation, now stood as a testament to their fall. The serpent's deceit had led them astray, and the repercussions were immediate and far-reaching. As a result, Adam and Eve were expelled from the Garden of Eden, their paradise lost. The gates closed behind them, symbolizing the end of their innocence and the beginning of a life filled with toil and hardship. They now faced a world where they would have to work hard for their sustenance, a stark contrast to the effortless abundance they once enjoyed. The consequences of their sin were not just personal but would affect all of humanity. The ripple effects of their disobedience would be felt by every generation to come, shaping the human experience with a mixture of joy and sorrow, triumph and struggle. Yet, even in this moment of profound loss, there was a glimmer of hope. God's plan for redemption was already in motion, promising a future restoration for those who would seek it. Section 10. A Legacy of Choices. The story of Adam and Eve is one of the most well-known tales in the Bible, a narrative that has been passed down through generations, teaching us about the consequences of our choices. Adam blamed Eve, and Eve blamed the serpent, each trying to shift the responsibility away from themselves. This act of deflection is something we see often in human behavior, a reluctance to accept the consequences of our own decisions. But ultimately, they were both responsible for their actions. Their regret and distress were palpable, a reflection of the heavy burden of their choices. They had to face the reality that their disobedience had far-reaching consequences. They had chosen to disobey God, to eat the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge. This act of defiance was not just a simple mistake, it was a deliberate choice to go against the divine command. They chose to believe the serpent's lies over God's truth. The serpent, a symbol of deceit and temptation, had convinced them that they would not face any consequences, that they would become like God, knowing good and evil. Because of their sin, Adam and Eve were banished from the Garden of Eden. This expulsion was not just a physical removal from a place of beauty and abundance, it was a spiritual separation from God, a loss of innocence and purity. The ground was cursed, making it difficult to grow food. What was once a garden of ease and plenty became a land of toil and hardship. Adam had to work the ground with sweat and labor to provide for his family. Pain and suffering entered the world, affecting not just Adam and Eve, but all of humanity. This was the beginning of a world where pain, sorrow, and hardship became a part of the human experience, and death became a reality. The immortality that was once within their grasp was lost, and the inevitability of death became a part of the human condition. This was a stark reminder of the gravity of their disobedience. The serpent too faced consequences for its role in the first sin. God cursed it, saying, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock and above all beasts of the field. On your belly you shall go, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life." The serpent's punishment was a perpetual reminder of its deceit and the consequences of leading others astray. On your belly you shall go, a position of humiliation and defeat, forever marked by its role in the fall of man. And dust you shall eat all the days of your life. This imagery of the serpent eating dust symbolizes its ultimate defeat and the ongoing struggle between good and evil. The legacy of choices made by Adam and Eve continues to echo through time, reminding us of the importance of obedience and the far-reaching impact of our decisions.